Hi there. Thank you for coming to my talk today. My name is Billy Young, a staff solutions engineer at Snyk. Today, I'll be covering top 3 ways to improve your DevSecOps program. But first, let's talk about DevSecOps. Today, organizations are moving to a much more modern, agile development process, whether it is deploying applications multiple times a day, and also introducing better collaboration between development and operations teams, automating as much of the manual processes that they had before, and really empowering developers to use to give them the flexibility to use any packages as they see fit, opening a much larger supply chain for their applications. This has resulted in much faster delivery of new features to the business and to the end user, as well as streamlining a lot of the existing developer processes for organizations as they undergo digital transformation. So really amazing transformations at organizations around the world. And organizations are now looking to see how they can incorporate security into the modern DevOps processes. How can we continue to deliver software at an incredible pace, but also ensure that the software is secure? The challenge is that traditional security, whether it is doing a pen test at the end of a project, or whether it is running long-running scans in the CI/CD, the traditional security process has been cumbersome and slow, and is seen to be a blocker for innovation. The result of this is that many development teams see security as a blocker and will try to bypass security whenever they get the chance. The only way to achieve secure application development is to, as part of the modern DevOps process, is DevSecOps. How do we incorporate security as part of the developer's modern day-to-day workflow? How can we include security and integrate it to the existing DevOps process? So for the talk today, I will go over some of the top ways to improve your DevSecOps program, whether you are starting off into DevSecOps at your organization, or whether you already have an existing DevSecOps program and you're looking for ways to improve the adoption and the integration that you have today. And the first way that I have seen organizations start doing and start focusing is shifting left. The reason being is that security testing are commonly done at a single place in the DevOps process. And this is typically at the CI/CD build phase. The problem is that this is quite late in the development process, and it can be quite expensive to fix issues found during this phase of the DevOps process if we are failing builds and only finding security vulnerabilities once the application is built. Organizations looking to adopt security in a more modern DevSecOps process are looking to shift left and provide the security insights from these security testing directly in the developer workstation. So as developers are making code changes, we want to provide them with this information as they're making the code change. Provide them with recommendation on how to fix the issues before they commit the code. And then also monitoring the pull requests, monitoring the commits, helping them understand whether they're introducing any bad code from a security perspective, even before they build the application. So the earlier we can help them fix these issues, the cheaper it is for them to fix, and the easier it is for them to adopt security in the DevSecOps process. But it's not just about shifting left. We also have to look and see how we can also shift right. So not just introducing quality gate in the CI/CD, but also not just in the CI part of the CI/CD, but also in the CD part, the continuous deployment. As applications are being deployed into production, this is really the last the last place before your application are made available to your end users. So we want to ensure that there are no critical security vulnerabilities being pushed out into production. And you can think of this as our last safety gate here in the entire process. But once the application is deployed into production, security doesn't end there. Obviously, there are runtime security tooling that can help operations teams monitor those applications, monitor the environment. But also from an AppSec application security perspective, just because there's no vulnerability today in the application that we released into production, doesn't mean that there won't be a zero-day vulnerability tomorrow. So we need to continue to monitor these libraries to ensure that if there is a new vulnerability that is disclosed in public, we can notify the development and the security teams and the operations teams on the applications that they have running in production that will need to be updated and retested and then redeployed into production as soon as possible. Now, in terms of shifting left, it has brought significant value to our customer base. From the feedback that we have gotten from our customers, in shifting left, they've been able to reduce the risk because more issues are being fixed. And they've also been able to improve the productivity of the development teams because it is easier for them to fix the issues if we shift left. Now, moving on to another way to improve DevSecOps programs is to empower developers. Now, you may ask, why don't we empower the security team? Why do we need the developers to be involved? The challenge is that, on average, according to a recent DevOps report, for every 100 developers, there are 10 DevOps people and 1 security dedicated engineer. So we can't expect the 1 security engineer to manage the security of all of these applications that are being built, to collaborate with 100 developers on average. It's just too much work for the security team. A recent survey that we did with our customers on who they think is responsible for security. And as you can see here, the majority of the response is that developers should be responsible for security. As we know, in a fully collaborative environment, security really should be a responsibility of everyone in the organization, whether it's security team, the development team, or the operations team. And when we lead with developers, and really empower them to build secure application, our customers have seen a 44% decrease in the risk. As mentioned earlier, shifting left has the same outcome as empowering developers, because at the end of the day, we want to give the right information to the developers as early as possible and really empower them to build secure application. This way, they can really reduce the risk for the business, as well as increasing the productivity in the team. You may think that adding security to the DevOps process, to the day-to-day workflow of the developers, we may be adding additional work for the developers. But because we are empowering developers and allowing them to fix it as early as possible, and really empowering them by giving them actionable insights into the security issues they have in the code, how to fix it, and then really educating them and assisting them in fixing those issues, it means that we are actually increasing the productivity. We are saving them time. They don't have to wait for a pen test at the end of the project to give them a large number of vulnerabilities that they have to go back and update, retest the application, rebuild the application. So if we can empower the developers, we are actually will end up increasing their productivity. Lastly, today, I want to touch on the third way that we can improve the DevSecOps program, where many of our customers have started to introduce a security champion program at their organization. What is a security champion? So I would like to summarize here some of the main points of what we believe is an effective security champion. The security champion has to be a developer. They have to be embedded inside the development teams so that they are empathetic to those developers. They understand what it means to build applications in the teams, but also they can partner with the security team. So acting as a go-between between the development team and the security team. They must be self-nominated. The security champion must be someone who is passionate about learning more around security. As a developer myself, I took pride in the code that I created. And I think creating secure application is part of that. So the security champion must really be passionate about becoming the champion for the team, but also they must be endorsed by the leadership. No one has time for a side project. This must be led from the top so that as security champions, they can dedicate a portion of the time in helping the team build better and secure applications. Why a security champions program? So most developers, they want to do the right thing. They just need help. As a security champion, you understand more around how to fix the security vulnerabilities that are found in applications, and they can help and train and enable the rest of the teams. Also works best when security teams understand what really drives the developers, and vice versa. Let me give you a short story that I heard on a podcast. A successful security champion program at an organization, the way they train their security champions is not just teaching them secure coding, teaching them everything from a security perspective, but they also wanted to help them understand it from the developer perspective. So what they did was they took a vulnerable application and they showed during a live hacking session how a bad actor can actually hack into an application with a security vulnerability. Then they work together to fix that security vulnerability, rebuild the application, and we performed the same live hacking session to show that once fixed, the application is no longer hackable as shown before. So showing the developers how not fixing some of these issues could potentially lead to significant impact at runtime. And then lastly, also measuring the impact of the program. Measuring the impact of the program on the business and measuring how well the program is being implemented helps a security champion program be successful. Now, to summarize, a security champion program must have executive support. The successful security champion program that we've seen in our customer base roughly spends 10 to 20% of the time. So the security champions roughly spends 10 to 20% of the time on these type of activities, whether it is helping the rest of the team fix security issues, or whether it's providing training, learning more around secure coding, and then providing the training to the rest of the team. It must also be a cultural change. So similar to DevOps, DevSecOps must be a cultural change, not just tooling or a process change. Everyone must be passionate and understand why they're doing this. And then once we have set the right structure and the goals for the program, and then measuring the success of the program, these are the areas where we've seen organizations around the world have successful programs like this. So to summarize, there are many benefits to a well-implemented DevSecOps program, whether it's faster delivery, improving the security posture of your company. At the end of the day, it's about how can we incorporate security inside the existing DevOps processes without slowing down providing new features to your end users. At Snyk, we provide application security, whether it's scanning your source code, your open source libraries that the application is using. If it's part of a containerized application, scanning the packages included in the container images, but also for our customers that are in the cloud and using IAC such as CloudFormation or Terraform, helping scan the IAC code to ensure that there's no misconfigurations before they deploy the configuration in the cloud. So everything that we treat as code, as Snyk, we help our customers ensure that there are no security issues before they deploy it to production, and doing it in a way that we can incorporate security in a modern and agile DevSecOps process. Thank you very much for attending my talk. Follow me on LinkedIn, and also reach out if you have any more questions, and if you like to work with Snyk to explore ways that we can improve your DevSecOps program at your organization. Thank you.